The monitor gets attached to the camera via this magic arm on a cold shoe. By turning this thing, all the joints tighten up, so all kinds of angles are possible. I personally want the screen to be as close to the camera as possible, so this would be the best solution. I shoot most of the time handheld, and this still looks a bit fragile to me. Also, when I let it hang down, the screen often moves to the side. For handheld, I find this setup quite heavy. That's why I only use the lowest part of the cold shoe. Now I save a lot of weight because I don't need the magic arm and because the monitor is a lot closer to the camera, what also makes it much more stable. The only drawback is that I can't adjust the angle. It's fine in most situations, but when filming from the bottom, for example, it can be quite uncomfortable. The data transmission works via HDMI and mini HDMI cable. The monitor is powered via battery that lasts for around 2 hours. The charger is of course included. Now let's have a look on the screen itself. It does take a few seconds to boot, but has no problems to find my camera as source. And it doesn't have problems with 4K. In the menu are quite some options to choose out of. I personally only use volume bar, histogram and focus peaking. The focus peaking works very well. I find it a lot easier to pull focus with the screen than the camera display. The histogram gets the information from the external monitor and not the camera, so it actually shows wrong information because it doesn't have the same picture style as the camera. This can be misleading because the histogram of the external monitor tends to be a lot faster in the blacks than the camera actually records. To me, the focus magnifier function is extremely important. I have it on my camera on the C1 shortcut, but on the external monitor I find it pretty much unusable. First of all, especially when filming handheld, it is almost impossible to reach while adjusting the focus at the same time. Second, it always pushes into the middle and you can't change that. And third, you always have to press the button several times to get back to the full screen. This is especially a problem because once you press recording, at least on my Sony a6300, the screen of the camera turns black, so I have to fully rely on the monitor and pretty much lose my focus magnifier. My Sony 6300 has a very dark screen in 4K. Especially outside, it is almost impossible to pull focus manually with such a small and dark screen. The brightness of the Aputure monitor can't be adjusted, so it always has the same brightness. Yes, I think the screen is brighter than the screen of my camera, but my phone can go a lot brighter. So, what are my final thoughts on that monitor? For this price, I think it really is not bad, but please consider whether you really need an external monitor. I personally always try to stay as light as possible, because carrying around more and more equipment usually only hinders me, but doesn't make my videos better.